You want to get a little bit closer to the mic.
Dareall, National Teachers Academy Student Council. There is a proposal to change level 1 plus predominantly black high school, predominantly black elementary school into high school. This won't affect me, but it will affect the younger kids. NTA is just one of the many other schools that CPS is trying to push around. But I want you to know that we won't let you do this. We're going to stop. We're not going to stop until we get what we want. And we're not going down without a fight. You stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, but who are you pledging allegiance to? Yourself or your careers? You're not pledging allegiance to the city of Chicago and our kids. And you also say justice for all, but I don't see no justice anywhere. I don't see no justice in Englewood or National Teachers Academy. We look up to all of you as role models, especially you, Ms. Jackson. We see you as a leader. You have seen the ugly side of Chicago, as your father was a hardworking driver. Your father strongly supported education, so I don't understand why you're supporting other people trying to take that away from us. At one point, I wanted to be like you. I saw you as a leader and a role model. You showed us that just because you have humble beginnings doesn't mean that you can't be successful. Your take on this matter was that people are moving to the South Loop, but we also know that we have not been able to create an open enrollment option for families moving in. We should have a school that does not have a selection criteria that will meet the residents who live in this area. So you are only thinking about the affluent Caucasian population when you say in this area, and not the community that the two of us come from. CPS is choosing to prioritize the needs of the
Mr. Acheampong,
at the expense of black people, something that America has done since the Civil Rights era. NTA is like a home to me and everyone else. We have worked hard to build our community and gain level 1+ status. I do not believe that slavery ended. I think it has evolved. We may not be in chains physically, but we are in chains mentally. Our education has been disregarded and ignored. So, are you going to ride on the corrupt bandwagon that has suppressed minorities for centuries? Are you willing to stand by a system that are putting blacks through hell as we speak, or will you be different? Will you be the Chicago you wish? Will you be the change in Chicago you wish to see? Is this really how you want to be viewed by the future? We cannot change our disgraceful past of slavery and segregation. We cannot change the choices made by those who came before us. We cannot change the past, but we can change what happens now. Will you push humanity forward, or will you help hold us back? You have the power to change history. The spotlight is on you. The question is, what are you going to do? Thank you.
I'd like to address some of the things that were said. Number one, I appreciate you doing your research and making those connections, and all of those connections exist. But I want to make sure you understand that there is no truth in the statement that you made, that this is about me siding with anybody other than the students who predominantly live in the Dearborn homes, not the Dearborn homes, but the Long Grove homes and the Hilliard homes. I know I don't spend a lot of time, I haven't spent any time with you, and other people do, and they may be feeding you things that may or may not be true. But at the end of the day, what I know continues to exist in NTA, despite it being a great school, and I agree that it is a great school, but at the end of the day, when you leave 8th grade, your options are more limited than some of the people who are having you come here and speak today. And I am thinking about the fact that you have a great experience at NTA, and the people behind you will get to have that experience in a high school setting and not have to go to schools that they don't want to go to. So this is about that. And if anybody tells you otherwise, I'm telling you that that is not true. I also need you to understand that when you get in positions like this, you do have to make tough decisions, and people don't always agree with them. But I would never make a decision that I didn't think would be in the best interest of students. And I know that the students in NTA in particular, and I'm going on record saying that come from the Long Grove homes and the Hilliard homes and now the Dearborn homes will not only have a good quality elementary school education, but they will have a guaranteed access into a high school that will prepare them for college. And that is not the case today. And if you go and look at the past 8th grade classes and see where certain kids go and where other kids go, it's very different than what some people will lead you to believe. So I ask you, the same way you did that research on me and my past and what I believe, do your research on what options the students have and see who's getting and where, and then go back and look at the proposal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jackson. Was your name Dareall? I'll make a different comment. You remind me a little bit of myself. You have a very soft voice, and it's hard to hear you, but that makes people listen all the more. So I listened very carefully to everything you said, and I heard everything you said. I thought that you did a very good job. I'm glad that Dr. Jackson spoke because I didn't agree with everything you said, but I thought you did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.